Evening, everyone. This is Steve coming back to you with another book review this evening. It is March 3rd at 12:34 in the morning. Couldn't really get to sleep at the point in time, so I thought I'd do a video or two before we jump into that book review. As always, I do appreciate if you are a subscriber to my channel, and if you are not, I do encourage you to press the subscribe button down below there or to the left or right of your screen. And if you do enjoy the videos that I put out, and if you don't mind, leave me a comment in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you do like the video, and I'll see about putting more out similar to it in the future. And with that, let's go ahead and just jump into that book review, get it done here. Tonight's book review is going to be on the Magickal Job Seeker, Attract the Work You Love with Angelic Power by Damon Brand. Okay, this book was published back in 2014 by Damon Brand, one of the authors of the Gallery of Magick, and quite literally it is a booklet. I mean, like literally, it's like 28 pages long. Not very much. Yeah. The booklet was released shortly after the Magickal Cash book was released by the Gallery of Magick, and it was in due partly to the fact that the Gallery of Magick was receiving a large number of responses from devoted followers and students of their work, and there were more or less looking for ways to receive a steady income as opposed to quick cash. And the Gallery of Magick then had figured out that, okay, well, let's go ahead and put out some information out there that would assist people with getting work or finding new employment or making career changes, whatever the situation may be. Now, this book isn't going, sorry? Again, this book isn't for someone looking for quick cash. It's meant to serve three functions. First, to assist those that are unemployed and needing to find work. Secondly, if you are already working, but you have been looking for an opportunity to change positions, employers, or careers, then there is magic in the book that will aid you for that. And finally, if you've been stuck in the same job with your employer and you keep getting passed over for a promotion, they're just not recognizing you for whatever reason, well, you're lucky because there's magic in this tiny little booklet for that purpose as well. Okay. For instance, if you're wanting to change your careers, you can take into account obviously that you probably have some skills that would be beneficial in your new career and that you'd like to get into, but suppose that no employer is considering you based on your experience. Well, there's two rituals in that book that would assist you. For instance, the ritual to discover new jobs and make your talents known. And if you combine that with the ritual to increase your appeal to employers, you would definitely have a great benefit there in order to find new employment that you might be seeking. Okay, in all, there are really only about 5 rituals in this tiny little booklet, and any of them can be performed literally in about 5 minutes time. For those of you that are familiar with the books by Damon Brand, Words of Power, Greater Words of Power, and Mystical Words of Power, you will find that the magic in this book is similar to the rituals in those books. Quite literally, the only difference is that you can use the magic immediately out of this book, whereas with the Words of Power books, you have to do activation rituals in order to have that work out for you. Now, while I can't guarantee that you will get any job that you apply for, I can say that for purposes of this video that simply by harnessing the power of magic, it certainly does help to tip scales in your favor as opposed to not using Magick. And as we all know, we all like to have things in our favor, preferably. Now, I just want to go ahead and touch base on this really quick, because I know in one of my recent videos to my channel, I did state that I never used the Magick in this booklet, however that I had owned it. However, about 2 days ago, I was flipping through the pages of my Magickal journal, which is right here. I have one of several of them, and as I take my notes and I fill them up, I put these to the shelf, and then I get another booklet and I start taking notes in that one. Anyways, I was looking through the book about 2 days ago and flipping through it, looking for some notes on a ritual I had performed a couple of months back, and I come across a page and it says, "Hey, great success, 3 interviews from the same employer." And that's actually quite an interesting little story there. So I turned back another page and I found notes where I had performed one of the rituals out of this booklet here. And on that page I had scribbled notes wanting meaningful work that would show my skills and talents. Well, what's interesting and worth mentioning in regards to the story is that when I applied for a food prep position with a local restaurant about 8 or 9 months ago, and I knew that that restaurant had 3 locations basically within my area. One literally was, or actually still is, about 3 streets over from me, so I could literally walk there in 5 minutes from my apartment. Whereas the other 2 locations, I would have to ride a bus to if I wanted to go ahead and go work at either of those locations. Well, the funny thing is that when I applied for those jobs, I applied through their online portal, which is the preferred method that they wanted you to apply through. And so I finished my application, and it didn't really give me a suggestion, or didn't ask me, well, which location do you want to work at? And which I thought was kind of odd, because most online applications ask you what position and what location you want to apply to. So anyways, I applied, and then it apparently had performed this ritual out of the book within about a 2-hour period of applying, and then me receiving my first phone call. Well, I don't know about anybody else, but usually when I get a phone call and I don't recognize the number, I simply let it go to voicemail. Okay, so I was busy at the time, I didn't think about it. I looked at my phone, I said, I don't know who it is. Let voicemail get it. Okay, and then an hour later, I got another call. Again, same thing. I was like, don't know who that is. All right, well, thank you. Voicemail will get it for me. And then an hour after that, I got another call. And I thought, well, this is kind of odd. I got like a lot of calls within such a short amount of time. Normally that doesn't happen with me. And so I was sitting down having dinner, opened up my phone, and I thought, well, I'll just check to see what my voicemails are all about. And the crazy thing is that all 3 of these locations of the restaurant that I was interested in had called me. So literally every restaurant manager, like the restaurant manager from each of those locations, said, "Hey, we want to set you up for an interview," and so I called them back, and the first one said, "Hey, well, can you come in for an interview tomorrow?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, I could do that." So I went in about 10 o'clock in the morning, sat down with the manager, explained, my skill sets and what I was looking for, and she said, "Well, great. I want to go ahead and hire you on it. And I said, "Well, in all honesty," and I explained to her the situation, what had happened, how each of them had called me within an hour of each other, and I said, "Look, It's like I'd really like to work at this, for the company. Preferably though, I'd really like to have the location down by where I live, if possible, because it would be so close. And again, literally, I could get there in like 5 minutes, and I would have a much more open availability for them, as opposed to me having to get on a bus at 7 o'clock in the morning and then having to ride down an hour one way to get to this job, and then I'd only have limited hours because of the location that it was in. I'd have to catch like the last bus home, which would have been like around 9 o'clock. And, so I wanted to be able to maximize my potential, to get the most hours possible. So she's like, okay, well, I agree with that, So she said, well, if they don't decide to hire you on, just tell the manager to go ahead and give me a call, and, I'll go ahead and bring you on my team, if, again, they don't want to hire you. And I said, okay. So I went to the other two interviews, and each of them had basically said about the same thing. And again, I shared the little funny little story that had happened, and they all kind of laughed about it. We talked a little bit about it. And the manager at the location that I really wanted said, look, I'll call you in 2 days' time, whether you have the job or not. Well, I've heard stuff like that before. So it was getting towards the end of the day, end of the business day. It was about 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And I knew that that location had closed at 10 o'clock. So I stopped in, and I said, well, and the manager was there, and I said, well, I haven't heard from you. I just thought I'd stop in since I was passing by anyways, which I really wasn't. But again, it wasn't very far, so it wasn't a big deal. And she says, well, I already filled the position. And I thought, well, okay, great. Thanks a lot for, letting me know. So then I ended up calling the manager back to the first manager that I had an interview with. And she says, oh, I already filled my position here, so, I'm not looking for anybody right now. And then I went back to the third manager, and they had filled their position as well. And I was like, what the hell, I thought it was kind of weird, and you might be thinking and saying like, well, you weren't successful in getting the job that you wanted, so how is any of this relevant, Well, what happened was I had returned to work for my current employer because I had like my 2 days off, and they were both in a row, and I did all this stuff. And I walked in there, and my employer says, "Hey, we want to offer you a food prep position, that I wanted for a long time, to mind you, okay." And they said, "Well, one of our current preps they're not working out, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, so we need someone to fill that job requirement." And lo and behold, I was given a position that I'd wanted for a long time. It didn't really give me any extra money, but I was being placed in a position that was going to allow me to, show my skills and my talents, which is basically what I wanted. So with that, I just thought I'd share that little interesting little tidbit. So sometimes magic works out for you the way that you want, and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, I got the interviews and stuff like that by, performing one of the rituals in the book, and I had to say it was you're fairly lucky that that it all came out as it did. Like 3 phone calls within 3 hours from the same employer to begin with. But like I said, sometimes magic throws you a curveball, and you just have to go with it. But with that, folks, again, this is just a short book review on this. I'm not going to say that you must have this in your book collection, you know, for your any of your magical work or anything like that. But again, it is a nice little book, and if you want to go ahead and check it out, it is available at Amazon. I just thought, here, how about I kind of, and I know that I mentioned that it's kind of like the rituals in the Words of Power and Greater Words of Power. So we'll say that this is the to discover new jobs and make your talents known. So you'll see that it has a sigil there, okay, and then you have your words of power here below it. Some of these are divine names, and some of them are, there's an angelic name in there as well. And then right on the next page, you have additional notes on how to do the ritual. Okay, and literally, you can do this one in about two to 3 minutes if you really wanted to. And they're all similar to that. This is the next one: increase your appeal to employers. Again, you're just going to look at the sigil, take everything in, read your words of power, your divine names at this point, and then you would just flip over to the next page, follow the instructions here for that ritual, and you're done. So again, not very long. Again, all of them can be pretty much done in about 5 minutes, if not less than that. So again, it is available at Amazon.com if you're interested. The Kindle version or the ebook version is $2.99, I believe. And I think that the printed copy is maybe $5.99, might be $6.99. But check them out if you'd like, and if not, no harm, no foul. And with that, folks, this is going to be the end of this book review. I do appreciate you showing up. Again, do hit that subscribe button down below if you're interested in receiving any new updates on videos that I'll be putting out in the future. And if you did like this video, I do hope that you hit the like button down below, leave me a comment. I would appreciate that very much. You folks have a great night. Take care, and infernal blessings.